Welcome to our report on geothermal power plants, a critical component of our path to sustainable energy solutions. I hope this report sheds light on geothermal energy's potential and role in satisfying global energy demands while minimizing our environmental footprint. Geothermal power plants. So ano nga ba ang geothermal power plants? Ang geothermal power plants ay ginagamit para mag-generate ng kuryente gamit ang geothermal energy. So para silang mga planta na gumagamit ng coal, solar thermal, o nuclear energy. Pero ang pagkakaiba ay ang ginagamit na heat source. So sa geothermal, ang init na ginagamit ay galing mismo sa loob ng earth. So geothermal energy, ano nga ba ang geothermal energy? Ang geothermal energy ay ang init na matatagpuan sa loob ng earth. Ito ang energy na ginagamit sa mga geothermal power plants para mag-produce ng kuryente. Ayon sa Save on Energy, may natural na source ng power na matatagpuan sa ilalim ng lupa na matagal nang nandyan at ginagamit na for centuries. So sa ilalim ng lupa, yung malalim na part, may mga pools ng tubig na mainit dahil sa magma o mga natutunaw na bato. Ang mga pools ng tubig na ito ang tinatawag na geothermal reservoir. So ang pangunahing idea ng geothermal power ay ang paggamit ng init mula sa loob ng earth para mag-power ng mga bahay, negosyo, o para magpainit at magpalamig. So the general working principle of a geothermal power plant goes like this. So deep within our ground, somewhere 2 to 3 km below, there lies a pools of heated water. That heated water is harnessed within this geothermal power plant and then powers up the turbine, which is connected to the generator, resulting of the generation of electricity. So, now, since heated water is being harnessed from deep within, this is now the question, saan lang kaya pwede itayo ang geothermal power plant kung ang ginagamit niyang enerhiya ay yung mainit na tubig na nanggagaling sa ilalim ng lupa? So, kahit saan kaya mayroong mainit na tubig from deep within the ground? Next is harnessing power from below. So, ang geothermal reservoir ay mga pools ng tubig na naiinitan mula sa magma na malalim sa ilalim ng lupa. So, ang tubig o steam ay maaaring lumabas mula sa mga bitak ng lupa sa pamamagitan ng mga geysers o minsan bilang magma mula sa bulkan. Ang kakayahang gamitin ang steam na ito ang siyang nagbibigay ng lakas para sa geothermal power plant. So, as you can see, very good ang Philippines sa geothermal power plant dahil pang-apat na malaki sa buong mundo noong 2018. Ngayon, ang pinakamalaking geothermal power plant sa Pilipinas ay ang Malitmog Geothermal Power Station na matatagpuan sa Cananga, Leyte na may kapasidad na 588.4 megawatts. So, by the way, before ay ang Macban, yung location nun sa Laguna. So, dito tayo sa nakalagay sa table, the largest geothermal plants worldwide in 2018. Noon, nangunguna ang the geysers in United States with 1,205 megawatts, sunod Larderello in Italy with 769 megawatts, then Cerro Prieto in Mexico, 720 megawatts, Macban, Philippines, 458 megawatts, Gunung Salak in Indonesia with 377 megawatts, Salton Sea in United States with 340 megawatts, Kisildera in Turkey with 330 megawatts, then Sarulia in Indonesia with 330 megawatts, Erishady in Iceland with 303 megawatts, then the last, the Tiwi dito ulit sa atin, may 289 megawatts. Mas lalo ng very good ang Pilipinas dito sa may top 10 geothermal countries. Top 1 ng United States, sunod si Indonesia, top 3 ang Philippines, then Turkey, New Zealand, Mexico, Italy, Iceland, Kenya, Japan, then others. So ito ngayon ang tanong, bakit top 3 ang Pilipinas sa buong mundo na maraming geothermal power plant? Ano ang meron sa Pilipinas? So, dahil ang Pilipinas ay matatagpuan sa Ring of Fire, or to be specific, Pacific Ring of Fire. So sa kasalukuyang panahon, ang Pilipinas ay pangalawa sa pinakamalaking producer na ng geothermal energy sa mundo, pagkatapos ng United States. So, ang bansa ay may malalaking geothermal power plants na nagbibigay ng malaking bahagi ng renewable energy, tumutulong sa pagbabawas ng carbon emissions at pagtugon sa pangangailangan sa kuryente. So, next is ang usok na makikita mula sa Macban Geothermal Power Plant. Yan ay hindi sanhi ng polusyon sa hangin, Sa katunayan, ito ay nagdadala pa ng sariwang hangin. Ang usok na ito ay hindi usok o polusyon, kundi water vapor o singaw ng tubig. Ito ay galing sa excess steam na inilalabas ng planta pagkatapos itong mag-generate ng kuryente gamit ang geothermal energy. Next ang The Geysers Geothermal Power Plant sa Northern California ay isa sa pinakamalaking geothermal power plant sa mundo. Ang planta ay kumukuha ng steam mula sa mga natural na geysers at geothermal reservoir na pinapalakas ng init mula sa magma sa ilalim ng lupa. So, ang steam ay ginagamit para magpatakbo ng mga turbine at mag-generate ng kuryente. So, pagkatapos magamit, ang steam ay ibinabalik sa ilalim ng lupa upang mapanatili ang reservoir. Kaya nagbibigay ito ng malinis at sustainable na enerhiya. Ang major tectonic plate boundaries ay mga lugar kung saan matatagpuan ang karamihan ng mga bulkan at ang pinakaaktibong geothermal resources. Isa sa mga pinakamahalagang lugar na may aktibong geothermal energy ay ang Ring of Fire na nakapalibot sa Pacific Ocean. Dito matatagpuan ang maraming aktibong bulkan at geothermal areas. So kapag ang magma ay lumapit sa ibabaw ng Earth, ito ay nagpapainit ng tubig na naharang sa mga porous na bato o mga tubig na dumadaloy sa mga bitak ng bato at faults. So ang mga hydrothermal features tulad ng mga geysers, hot springs, may dalawang pangunahing sangkap tulad ng hydro, which is water, at init, which is thermal, ang nagbibigay ng enerhiya para sa geothermal power. Next is ang mga geologists, which is sila yung gumagamit ng iba't ibang pamamaraan para matukoy ang mga geothermal reservoir. So, ang pinakamaasahang paraan para matukoy ito ay ang pagdrill ng well at pagtetest ng temperatura sa ilalim ng lupa. Mahalaga itong gawin dahil ang mga reservoir ay malalim sa ilalim ng lupa at hindi ito madalas nadedetect sa ibabaw. So, ang geothermal energy ay umabot sa ibabaw ng Earth sa tatlong paraan. Una, sa pamamagitan ng mga bulkan at fumaroles, mga butas sa lupa kung saan lumalabas ang volcanic gases. So, yung pangalawa, sa pamamagitan ng hot springs. Pangatlo, sa geysers. So, dagdag ko, ang magma ay tinutukoy na natutunaw na bato sa ilalim ng lupa. Samantalang, kung ikukumpara siya sa lava, yung lava naman ay yung natutunaw na bato na umabot na sa ibabaw ng lupa. So, ang mga lugar na wala sa tectonic plate boundaries ay hindi maaaring magkaroon ng geothermal power plant dahil wala silang pinagkukunan ng geothermal energy. So, halimbawa, Pacific Ring of Fire, kung saan matatagpuan ng Pilipinas, ay isa sa pinakaaktibong lugar ng geothermal energy. Dahil dito nanggagaling ang init mula sa ilalim ng lupa na tinatawag na geothermal reservoir. Ano nga ba ang geyser? So, ito ay isang uri ng hot spring na nagpapalabas ng steam at mainit na tubig ng periodiko, parang isang fountain. Nangyayari ito kapag ang tubig sa ilalim ng lupa ay pinapalakas ng geothermal energy, kadalasan mula sa init ng Earth's core. So, ang tubig ay umiinit, nag-expand at nagbubuo ng pressure hanggang sa mag-erupt ito. So, ang proseso ng isang geyser ay ganito. Una, ang tubig ay iniipon sa isang reservoir sa ilalim ng lupa. Pangalawa, ang init mula sa magma ay nagpapainit sa tubig, kaya tumataas ito. So, habang umiinit ang tubig, tumataas ang pressure dahil sa pagkipot ng mga underground channels, kaya hindi ito kumukulo hanggat hindi ito umabot sa critical na punto. So, kapag sobrang taas ng pressure, mabilis na nagiging steam ang tubig at umaabot ito sa ibabaw sa pamamagitan ng isang vent o butas sa lupa. So, ang mga geysers ay medyo bihira at matatagpuan sa mga lugar na may aktibong geothermal activity tulad ng Iceland, New Zealand at Yellowstone National Park sa United States. So, an example of a famous geyser is Old Faithful in Yellowstone, which erupts approximately every 90 minutes. Sunod, kapag nakakita ng ganitong mga phenomena, ito ay maaaring mga posibleng lokasyon para sa geothermal power plant. Wala nang iba. So, kapag nakita ito sa mga service, maraming pagsusuri at testing ang kailangang gawin ng mga eksperto upang masigurado kung ang lugar ay angkop para sa pagtatayuan ng geothermal power plant.
So, there are three types of geothermal plant or geothermal power plant. Una nito is yung dry steam power plant. Ano nga ba yung working principle nito? So, dry steam plants are the most common types of geothermal power plants, accounting for about half of the installed geothermal plants. They work by piping hot steam from underground reservoir directed into turbines from geothermal or from the reservoir. which power the generators to provide electricity. So after powering the turbines, the steam condenses into water and is piped back into the earth by the injection well. So dry steam plants directly use the naturally occurring steam, which simplifies the process compared to other geothermal plant types. In this slide, makikita natin how the dry steam system power plants work. The pipe gather the steam, then yung steam is papaikutin yung turbine, then from mechanical energy, magiging electrical energy siya. So para mas mapaliwanag ng detail, lipat tayo sa kabilang slide kung saan meron dong mas detailed na diagram or picture kung saan makikita natin kung paano nag-work yung geothermal power plant. So, ayan. Meron na tayong dalawang picture dito kung saan makikita natin kung paano nag-work yung dry steam power plant. Dry steam power plants are a type of geothermal plant that directly utilizes naturally occurring steam from the underground reservoir to generate electricity. So, here's a breakdown of how they work. So, yung key components and process ng power plant na to is geothermal reservoir. Una is geothermal reservoir. Yung ganitong mga planta is nagtatap sa underground reservoir para makapag-produce ng steam Yung steam is typically na mataas yung temperature at pressure. Pangalawa natin is yung production wells. Maghuhukay ng about 2 to 3 km para ma-extract natin yung steam. The steam will flow naturally to the pipe. Yung pipe na yun yung kakabit natin after natin maghukay ng 2 to 3 kilometers. Doon dadaan yung steam papuntang turbine. Next naman natin yung steam gathering system. A network of pipes transport the steam from the wells to the power plant. Ayun nga, gamit yung pipe, pwede na tayong mag-gather ng steam. At yung steam na to, pupunta siya directly to the turbine. Tapos, in this system, dinesign to para ma-minimize natin yung heat and pressure loss since ito yung kailangan natin para mapagana yung turbine at mag-generate ng electricity. Sunod naman is turbine generator or turbine to generator. The high pressure steam is directed into a turbine, causing it to spin tapos mag-generate na ng electrical energy. Yung turbine is nakakonect sa generator, which converts the mechanical energy of the spinning turbine into the electrical energy. Dito, sumunod naman is yung condenser. After passing through the turbine, the steam is condensed back into water. So, sa condenser, yung steam na nakuha natin is ibabalik natin sa tubig. Ibabalik natin at gagawing tubig. Tapos, pag after siya gawing tubig, ibabalik natin siya underneath or sa kung saan natin siya kinuha sa ilalim ng lupa. Tapos, this process helps to create a vacuum, which increases the efficiency of the turbine. So, yung sunod naman is reinjection. Parang yung kanina lang, yung condensed water natin, kadalasan nire-reinjected back siya sa geothermal reservoir para tulungang ma-replenish yung reservoir at mag-maintain ng pressure.
Next type, we have the flash steam power plant. Now, let's see how this power plant works. Flash steam plants differ from dry steam because they pump hot water rather than steam directly to the surface. These flash steam plants pump hot water at a high pressure from below the earth into a flash tank on the surface. The flash tank is at a much lower temperature, causing the fluid to quickly flash into steam. The steam powers the turbines. The steam is cooled and condenses into water, where it is pumped back into the ground through the injection well. Hot water from underground is pumped into a cooler temperature flash tank. The sudden change in temperature creates steam which powers the generator. Ang mainit na tubig mula sa ilalim ng lupa ay pinapump papunta sa isang flash tank na may mas mababang temperatura. Dahil sa biglaang pagbabago ng temperatura at presyon, ang mainit na tubig ay nagiging steam na siyang nagpapaandar sa generator. Sa isang flash steam power plant, ang enerhiyang ginagamit ay mula sa mainit na tubig. Kapag umabot ito sa ibabaw at pumasok sa flash tank, nagkakaroon ng biglaang pagbabago sa temperatura at presyon, kaya ito ay nagiging steam. Ang steam na ito ang nagpapaikot sa turbine upang makalikha ng kuryente. Usually, the hot water extracted from deep underground about 2 kilometers to 3 kilometers below the surface is called brine. Brine is a water that contains salt. However, not all of this water is converted into the steam. Some of it remains in liquid form. So the portion that remains as water is sent back into the injection well, where it is returned deep underground, making the process a continuous cycle. Meanwhile, the part that is converted into steam flows to the turbines, causing them to spin. The spinning turbines drive the generator, which produces electricity. After the steam has been used, it is cooled and condensed back into liquid form. Once it becomes liquid again, it is sent back underground, completing the cycle.
So, hi everyone. Now, let's discuss the working principle of the binary cycle power plant. So, in this power plant, the main difference is that the water or steam from below the earth never comes in direct contact with the turbines. Instead, water from geothermal reservoirs is pumped through a heat exchanger where it hits a second liquid like isobutane. So, isobutane boils at a lower temperature than the water. So, the key difference in binary cycle plants is that the geothermal fluid or the hot water from the underground never directly powers the turbine. So, it acts as a heat source. The geothermal fluid is pumped through a device called a heat exchanger. So, in the heat exchanger, the geothermal fluid transfers its heat to a second fluid, which is the binary fluid. So, the second fluid has a much lower boiling point than water, like isobutane. So, because of its low boiling point, the heat from the geothermal fluid causes it to rapidly vaporize. Then the vaporized secondary fluid drives the turbine, which generates electricity. So, imagine you have a pot of water. Consider that as the geothermal fluid. Instead of using that hot water to directly turn a wheel, you use it to heat another liquid that boils easily. So, the heat from that easily boiling liquid or the secondary fluid is what turns the wheel. So, this second fluid is heated into steam, which powers the turbines that drives a generator. The hot water from the earth is recycled into the earth through the injection well, and the second liquid is recycled through the turbine and back into the heat exchanger where it can be used again. So, according sa yung geothermal fluid daw natin, yun ay nag-a-act as a heat source, while yung secondary fluid natin, siya yung nag-a-act as the main key or parang mapa-under mo yung specific turbine. So, hot water from underground geothermal reservoirs is pumped to the surface. Then, this hot water is passed through a heat exchanger. So, inside the heat exchanger, the hot water transfers its heat to a second liquid like the isobutane. So, the isobutane or the second liquid has a low boiling point, so that the heat from the geothermal water causes it to quickly turn into steam by means of vaporization. So, the pressurized steam from the second liquid is directed to a turbine, and the force of the steam causes the turbine to spin. The spin turbine is connected to a generator. Then the generator converts the mechanical energy of the spinning turbine into electrical energy. So, recycling the geothermal water, after the geothermal water has transferred its heat in the heat exchanger, it is cooled down. This cooled water is then pumped back into the earth through an injection well. So this helps replenish the geothermal reservoir. After the secondary liquid steam has passed through the turbine, it cools and condenses back into a liquid. So this liquid is then pumped back into the heat exchanger where it can be heated again and start the cycle over. So both the geothermal water and the secondary liquid operate in closed loops in order to minimize waste and environmental impact. So using a secondary liquid with a low boiling point allows for efficient power generation from lower temperature geothermal resources. So recycling the geothermal water helps maintain the long viability of the geothermal reservoirs. So now let's talk about the operation of the binary cycle power plant. So at the bottom of the diagram, we have the operation of the geothermal fluid extraction and circulation. So at the red loop, we have the production well. So the hot geothermal fluid, or likely the hot water, is extracted from the geothermal zone deep underground through the production well. So a pump is used to bring the geothermal fluid to the surface and push it through the system. So the hot geothermal fluid passes through a heat exchanger where the magic happens. So it transfers the heat to a working fluid, which is represented by a yellow loop sa diagram natin. And after transferring the heat, the now cooler geothermal fluid is pumped back into the earth through the injection well. This replenishes the geothermal reservoir and is a crucial part of the sustainability of this energy source. So let's proceed with the working fluid cycle. So the working fluid, or the hot or a liquid with a low boiling point, absorbs the heat from the geothermal fluid or the heat source in the heat exchanger. So this causes it to vaporize and turn into steam. So the pressurized vaporized working fluid is directed to a turbine causing it to spin. So the spinning turbine is connected to an alternator. So alternator is the generator. So the alternator converts the mechanical energy of the spinning turbine into electrical energy, which is presented by the electric current. So yung electric current daw natin, kino-convert niya yung mechanical energy of the spinning turbine into electrical energy. So after passing through the turbine, the working fluid vapor is cooled down in the cooling tower. This condenses it back into a liquid. So babalik naman ito sa heat exchanger. So the cooled working fluid is then pumped back to the heat exchanger to start the cycle again. So in the cooling tower, it uses cooling water to help condense the working fluid vapor. So this water is likely circulated in a separate loop to dissipate the heat. So sa binary cycle, the name binary comes from the use of two fluids, the geothermal fluid and the working fluid. So the heat transfer is, so yung core principle nito is that the transfer of heat from the geothermal fluid to the working fluid is without the two fluids mixing. So the working fluid has a low boiling point, allowing it to easily vaporize using the relatively lower temperature geothermal heat. So both the geothermal fluid and the working fluid operates in closed loops in order to minimize waste and environmental impact. So, re-injecting the geothermal fluid helps maintain the pressure and longevity of the geothermal reservoir, making the binary cycle power plant a sustainable source of energy or power development ganun. So, this diagram effectively illustrates the simple yet elegant process of generating electricity using a binary cycle. So, it highlights the importance of heat transfer, fluid circulation, and the use of a suitable working fluid for efficient energy production.
Geothermal energy gives us a steady supply of electrical power with minimal environmental impact. Here is the basic process. Water in underground reservoirs is heated to high temperatures by magma. Production wells drilled up to 10,000 feet below the Earth's surface tap into this hot fluid. Under its own pressure, the fluid flows through these wells toward the surface. As it travels, the pressure lessens, causing a small amount to become steam. Together, the hot fluid and steam move through a surface pipeline to a wellhead separator, where the pressure is reduced. Here, most of the fluid vaporizes and flashes into high-pressure steam. Any fluid not flashed into steam moves to a standard pressure crystallizer to produce standard pressure steam. Remaining fluid is then flashed at a lower pressure to create low-pressure steam. All steam created in the plant is sent to a turbine on site. The force of the steam spins the turbine's blades, which turns a shaft connected to an electrical generator. An electrical charge is created and directed to a transformer, where the voltage is increased and sent down power lines. Any fluids not flashed into steam return to the underground reservoir, where, in time, they will be reheated and reused. Geothermal energy, a simple, clean, and renewable energy source.
Ang geothermal energy ay nagbibigay sa atin ng sustainable na supply ng electricity. Ang geothermal ay meron lamang na minimal impact sa ating environment. Ngayon, ito ang proseso nito kung paano ito nakapag-produce ng electricity. Ngayon, ang tubig sa ilalim ng ating tubig ay pinapainit ito sa mataas na temperatura ng magma. Ngayon, yung mga wells na yan, alam natin mga wells, mga tubo yan na nilulubog sa ilalim ng lupa. Ngayon, yung mga tubo na to, nilulubog to sa lalim na 10,000 feet below the earth's surface. Ngayon, sa tubo na nakalubog na ito, aakit ngayon yung fluid na pinainit ng magma. Dahil sa haba ng pipe na rin, pag-akit ng fluid, bumababa na yung pressure niya. O hindi na siya nakaproduce ng masyadong madaming steam. Ngayon, yung fluid na yun, dadali siya sa pipe para ma-convert siya sa high pressure steam. At yung ibang fluid naman na hindi rin na-convert sa high pressure steam, ngayon dadaan naman siya sa pipe papunta sa standard pressure crystallizer. Yun yung tinatawag natin, para makapag-produce ng standard pressure steam. Ngayon naman, yung remaining na fluid, o ibig sabihin, yung dumaan sa crystallizer na fluid, hindi pa rin yung lahat nag-steam. Ngayon, yung natira, mapaplush ngayon siya sa lower pressure para makapag-create ng pressure steam o makapag-create ng lower pressure steam. At ngayon naman, lahat ng pressure na ito o lahat ng steam na ito, pagsasama-samahin, dadaloy sa isang pipe papunta sa turbine. Ngayon, dahil sa force ng steam nito, napapaigod ito yung turbine blades. Ngayon, yung turbine blades na to nakakonect sa shaft at yung shaft nakakonect sa generator. Dahil sa lakas ng force, napapaikot ng steam yung turbine. Nagkakos ito na nakapag-produce yung generator ng mga electric charge. Ngayon, yung electric charge ito dumadaloy sa wire papunta sa transformer. At yun naman, pag nasa transformer ng electric charge, ang ginagawa dito sa transformer, kino-convert naman ng transformer yung electric charge sa mas mataas na voltage para pwede na siyang i-distribute. At ngayon naman, yung fluid na natira, dahil hindi naman lahat naging steam, yung fluid na natira ay babalik lang ulit siya sa ilalim ng lupa. Ngayon, yung fluid na yan, pwede siyang mapainit ulit ng magma at umakyat ulit. At yun lang cycle na paulit-ulit na nangyayari para makapag-produce ng steady supply ng electrical power ang geothermal energy.
Next is the advantages and disadvantages. Weather conditions. Kapag tugtuyot, usually it can also affect our hydroelectric power plant, as well as lalo na yung mga wind turbines natin. Dito, geothermal power plant, hindi, regardless of season. Geographic limitations, meron lang tayo na limited resource para makapagtayo. Then, kapag natuyuan na yung mga limited resource na yon, hindi na po pwedeng magtayo kahit saang parte. Siyempre, natayuan na lahat ng possible location. As we all know, pwede lang siyang magtayo doon sa lugar wherein there is a volcano, geyser, and hot spring. Kadalasan, doon lang po pwedeng magtayo ng geothermal power plant. Engineer EGS or Enhanced Geothermal System. Kahit saan, pwedeng magtayo in unsuitable environment. It is highly impractical. Ito rin ay parang artificial geothermal power plants. There will be a lot of machines and devices to be connected in order to produce the same operation as in geothermal power plant. Pero it will be an expensive one. That is why it is not practical to construct this kind of technology. This is theoretically proven. Maghuhukay talaga, mag-install ng pipe ng pagkalalim. Then, sa part na yon, dadaan either steam or hot water. Then, the steam and hot water, steam will go directly to the turbine. The steam that came from deep within the ground. So, hindi na siya nangangailangan ng mga panggatong or something else, just like in the coal-fired. Kailangan bibili ng uling para may panggatong sa power plant na coal-fired. Dito naman sa geothermal, harness from deep within, so walang gastos. Wala masyadong gastos para paikutin yung turbine sa renewable. Ang maganda sa mga napag-aralan natin na mga renewable, yung mga types of power plant here, walang ginagastos during the operation. When it comes to what way in order to drive the turbines. Carbon steel ang ginagamit na material for tube kapag high temperature yung steam or liquid na ihaharness. Super mahal. May fiber-reinforced plastic, hindi puro steel. And then yung heat exchanger naman usually isobutene yon. Yun yung second liquid na being turned into steam by the hot water that came from the underground. Impossible magkaroon ng leak dito sa geothermal power plant dahil makakapal yung ginagamit na carbon steel. Mostly designed to resist corrosion. Magkakaroon na lang ng leak kung may magpapasabog ng bomba sa ilalim or something else or sinadya. Pero due to natural causes, tapos magkakaroon ng leak yung pipe, that is next to impossible. If ever man magkaroon ng leak doon, it will only lessen the impact of the steam to the turbine. Iikot pa rin naman yung turbine if malelesen if malesen impact, malilesen din yung output ng generator. Pero sa leak kasi, i-consider na malabong mangyari yon. Mahirap mangyari yon. Sa hydroelectric dam, there is a possibility na mag-collapse due to the force of water. Low maintenance sa operation ang geothermal power plant. Kung ikukumpara din sa coal-fired, dito mataas yung maintenance. Dito naman sa geothermal power plant, hindi ganon kakomplikado yung parts compared to the other renewable power plant, especially non-renewable power plant.